This year's Champions League has reached the second half of the group stages. The fixtures are in reverse and the groups are starting to take shape. In Manchester United's group, it is pretty much business as usual, with Juventus leading the way ahead of them, and Manchester United in red hot scoring form at the moment. In the reverse fixture, they beat Young Boys only by a goal to nil. They've scored so many more since then. Juventus, as we said, leading the way with 7 points to Manchester United 6. The Young Boys unfortunately become the kind of weakest team in the group, as to be expected. But you can never write anybody off. There are no easy games in the Champions League. Well, it is a pretty much foregone conclusion in Manchester United's group, as we saw Juventus at the top. They're obviously the powerhouses in Italy. Manchester United, as we said, the red-hot scoring team in all competitions since the 3 losses on the bounce earlier in the season, which included the opening matchup between them and Juventus in the second group match. It has been all changed since then. I think the Young Boys team is probably pretty much the same team that took on United in the first match, with Sonogo then Sol there. Sol got booked in the previous match, as did Von Bergen, I believe. I could be wrong. For United, it looks like a 4-4-2 with one striker behind the other. David De Gea, of course, in goal. Back 4 is, of course, Borthwick Jackson with Maguire, Bailly and Fosu-Mensah. Taif Chong plays in the midfield with Pogba, McTominay and Pierre. Zaha is playing behind Alexander Isak tonight, who gets, I believe, his first Champions League start. So that's an interesting choice by Popovich. You would have thought that he would have gone with Martial and Rashford, but not to be. I guess he wants to save them for the league push, as that is becoming a bit more of an urgent priority just to keep up with Manchester City, following 11 wins out of 11, and the Young Boys aren't particularly strong in this group. But United, as we said, only beat them by a goal to nil in the previous matchup, in which Alexis Sanchez scored. With the corner, headed in by Fosu-Mensah, and that would have just capped off a great season for him so far. Here he is again. Fosu-Mensah has definitely been the star of the show for Manchester United when he has played. Manchester United look a little asleep at the back somewhat. Bailly has avoided the tackle, and Maguire is kind of his footing wrong there. David De Gea saves it, but the referee's pointed to the spot, I believe, and I think it seems a little harsh for Fosu-Mensah, and well, maybe that is the correct decision when you look at it. Fosu-Mensah, unfortunate, he was getting nowhere near the ball. Young Boys have a penalty, and this could spell real trouble if they score from this. And they have done. The little stutter confused De Gea. He thought he was going to go straight, and the Young Boys take a 1-0 lead. It is deserved. Fosu-Mensah, that's probably his first big mistake this season, because he's been sensational, but I think he'll have to take the blame for that one. Cool, it worked, penalty. Not entirely in the spirit of the game. There has been some controversy about stutters like that, but the referee has given the goal. 1-0 to the Young Boys, and not to say that United have taken them lightly, they haven't, but Fosu-Mensah, unfortunately, will probably be the theme for that mistake, but it will happen. Manchester United just need to keep their heads down and play as they have done. This is an away fixture, so you don't necessarily have to win it in the Champions League. The rule is to win your home games, not lose your away ones. So as long as Manchester United fight back like we know they can and get a point, it shouldn't be that much of a problem. Zaha has found Chong, and the referee has given a foul against Chong, unfortunately. Actually, it's offside against him. I mean, credit the linesman, because that's very crowded. That's a very crowded penalty area there, and he got the decision right. Pogba. McTominay to Fosu-Mensah. McTominay again. Chong. Pogba. Played it in. Isak! And finally Isak gets a breakthrough It's his first United goal. It's his first goal in the Champions League. And finally, something goes right for Alexander Isak. He's had a tough time of it. But finally, he gets his first United goal. Alexander Isak has made his breakthrough finally. United pass, break down the defence of the Young Boys. Brilliantly done by United. It's a wonderful goal. And it's a great goal for Isak, and that'll do wonders for his confidence. It's through the legs of the keeper, but Alexander Isak will not care. Brilliant goal by Gregg Popovich and his team. It brings them back level, and that will be the perfect result given the situation they are in with the away tie. And finally, something has gone right for Alexander Isak. He's brought it level, and we are all tied up here again as the first half is probably just about to come to an end as we approach the final seconds of the added on time, which was 3 minutes. Manchester United always one last attack, and here's Zaha to put the icing on the cake at the end of the first half. He tried to be unselfish, and that will be the end of the first half. United certainly aren't out of this game yet. They've been relentless. It's an unfortunate penalty to concede with Fuzu Mensah, but it is what happens, and it does make kind of sense. It was a sliding challenge, but Alexander Isak doing what many people think he will do best in the future, bringing the team level, and it is all square. 1-1 at the break. Well played by Pierre. Tomini. Isak has turned on the jets and got running. Isak, and he's found Pogba. And Pogba's got through somehow, and he scored it. Paul Pogba, great goal. 2-1 to United. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. The turnaround is complete so far for Gregg Popovich's side. Isak does brilliantly here in the build-up play, and Pogba stretches his leg out after initially looking like he might lose the challenge. He poked his leg out in front of a defender and got enough power on it to get it past the keeper. The keeper should really be saving it, but Gregg Popovich will take it. It's a bit of a hard to work one, and a bit of a scrappy one at first, but Paul Pogba will certainly take it, and so will his coach, as that'll be his first goal in the Champions League this season for Pogba. And this is the kind of results that United could do with, just to kind of cement their position in second place, with Juventus taking on Valencia next time for them. And if Juventus win that game, then you have to assume that Manchester United and you will progress, and the referee's going to give a penalty. It's a penalty the other way. I think that's only fair. It was a sliding challenge, and I think it was Isak that went down. It was Zaha, and he flew in and he took him out. No complaints at all about that penalty. Well, Paul Pogba, you know how controversial his run-up can be. And it's going to be another one of those, isn't it? Oh, he's going to be saved by the keeper. Brilliant save by the keeper. And the Young Boys are still in it. Oh my, what a save. Paul Pogba, he probably won't be trying that again. I don't think it was not a worldly struck penalty. It was just a good save from the keeper. And obviously, United had a penalty against Bournemouth that Marcus Rashford missed. So, the penalty is going to become a bit of a flunk for Manchester United. But they are ahead. But will they rue that miss from Pogba? You have to look at the Manchester United squad and think, with City coming up next, are they sacrificing a little bit of performance maybe? It's a strike there by Wilfried Zaha. It's game over. 3-1. And another atoned penalty miss for Manchester United. It's a wonderful play here. Zaha's onside. I think there might be a hint of off, but the Heinzman didn't raise his flag, and Zaha went ahead to score. It's a wonderful goal, to be fair. He was spinning, and he catches up the keeper. And Zaha has made it 1-3, and United look home and dry with the minutes ticking away. Less than 15 to go. Well, under Coach Parp, he's obviously made the mistake for the penalty, but I think they'll be quickly forgotten about tonight, because United, of course, have the comeback factor back under Coach Parp. A lot of Manchester United's traits and values and things for their club have come back under Coach Pop, and the most unlikely of candidates. Oh, now they're just running riot. Paul Pogba now with a goal. He makes up for his penalty miss as well. And United now are just turning up the screw and running rampant against BSC Young Boys now. And the club has probably run out of legs. Wonderful kind of lob there from Pogba and Pierre, and Pogba, well, he just smashed it into the back of the net. I don't think he was missing. And Isak had to jump out of the way. And he's really obliged to do that. And it's 4-1 to Coach Pop's team, and they're well on their way to 3 points now. If they can win that game, it will give them a much needed boost to their title challenge. It's not the greatest of touches there by the Young Boys, but the time is up. And Manchester United have come back from a penalty scored, Young Boys, and never looked back after turning it over, and then even scored again and again as well. So more goals, more attacking flair from Manchester United. Probably the best attacking side in the world at the moment, aside from Manchester City. They only seem to have maybe 1 or 2 holes in defence, but they're only conceding a low number of goals, and that's all that matters. Don't lose your away games. Manchester United have gone better. They've won it by 4-1. Let's have a look at the results from the Champions League games and what that means for the groups so far. In Group A, it's looking like, as expected, Atletico Madrid are leading the way on 2 points ahead of Dortmund. AS Monaco just hanging on by a bit of a thread. It is becoming a bit of a foregone conclusion in the matchups. Atletico Madrid beating Monaco by 3-0 in the end. Despite a valiant effort from Club Brugge, they fell to Borussia Dortmund by 2-1. 4. Group B, Inter Milan and FC Barcelona leading the way. Spurs are starting to lose ground, and PSV already look all but out of it. In the matchups, Inter Milan and Spurs entertained each other to a 2-2 draw in a bit of a classic going on there, and that means they lead the group. Barcelona is starting to recover now after a 3-0 win against PSV. In Group C, it is looking pretty much the same deal as well. Liverpool and Napoli are starting to run away from Panathinaikos, and Paris Saint-Germain struggle even further. And if my maths is correct, it's going to be a very touch and go the way Paris Saint-Germain can even make it to the group stages. They are last on 2 points. 60 games would give them 8. So Liverpool and Napoli get a point in their matchups. PSG are more or less gone. They fell to Liverpool by 3-0, while Napoli beat Panathinaikos by 3-1. It has been nothing short of a disaster from one of the powerhouses in the world of football. Paris Saint-Germain are all but eliminated. In Group D, it's a more even... Well, it's actually in Group D, to be fair, it's actually a full conclusion there as well. Schalke and Galatasaray running away with it after Galatasaray beat Porto by 2-1, and Schalke beat Lokomotiv Moscow by 1-0. And Group D looks all but settled, with Schalke having a 100% record so far. Actually, no, I take that back. They lost somewhere. But even still, Schalke and Galatasaray look to have it all but sealed. In Group E, Bayern Munich 10 out of 12, only dropping points once earlier in the group stages. SL Benfica 3 points behind. AK Athens are certainly gone. They lost to Benfica by 1-0 today, while Bayern Munich beat Ajax by 3-1. Ajax still have a sliver of a chance of progressing, but for AK Athens, their Champions League dream is over. In Group F, TSG Hoffenheim and Manchester City starting to build a gap to Lyon and Shakhtar Donetsk. In the matchup, City beat Lyon by 2-1, and TSG beat Shakhtar Donetsk by 3-1. In Group G, the champions Real Madrid, pretty much as expected, are most likely to qualify, because Victoria Pilsen and CSKA Moscow are pretty much done as far as their Champions League is concerned. It is all about who will win the group, with Real Madrid winning against CSKA Moscow by 1-0, and Victoria Pilsen beating Roma by 2-0. Roma beating Victoria Pilsen by 2-0, my apologies. Roma and Real Madrid will face each other in the final group games, so yes, they will face each other in the final group game. So it's all like who will top the group out of those two as they look to pull away. And finally, in Group H, it is looking all but settled as well, with Manchester United's win against the Young Boys today. Also, Juventus keep their lead in Group H as they beat Valencia by 2-1. United and Valencia still have to face each other in the first fixture, but it looks like they may have just pulled away far enough to qualify. Manchester United would only need a point against Valencia to do so, as Valencia only have 3 points. They would need to win their remaining 2 games and hope Manchester United drop points and a massive load of goal difference to do so, but considering Manchester United's scoring pedigree, a point would certainly do it, and then it will be against United and Juventus who for the top. So Group H is looking all but confirmed now. Something's got to give in this first Manchester derby of the season. Red hot Manchester United scoring and Manchester City's unbeaten league record. It's coming live from the Etihad next. Good evening, welcome to the Fortress, the Etihad Stadium. We are here for the first Manchester derby of the season, and if we're not careful, this could decide the Premier League title already. City, well, they have made records all their own. 11 unbeaten games, full points from those first 11 games. Manchester United have been dipping up and down over the last month or so. But one thing is for sure, they have been free scoring for fun. But 2 goals conceded throughout this entire season for Manchester City. It's got so many parallels to it, but unfortunately for competitive sake, it really does look like City will come out on top in this one. But you never, ever count Manchester United out of anything. Even in this uncertain stage of the season, Gregg Popovich has a score to settle, with the task for him bringing the gap down. So it's fair to say that he's got some scores to settle with Guardiola, considering last season as well. So look at the lineups. Guardiola sends out Ederson, of course, the goalkeeper in goal. Walker is with Laporte, Otamendi and Felipe Luis, the newest of signings. Christian Eriksen, another new signing, world record by the way, with Gundogan and De Bruyne. Sterling is with Aguero and of course Leroy Sané. Coach Park, David De Gea stays in goal. And it's a back 4 for him today. Darmian is with Lindelof, Smalling and Diego Dallo. The midfield 3 of Ander Herrera, Alexis Sanchez and Paul Pogba. And the front 3 are Alex Hunter and Jesse Zardes. Either side of free scoring Anthony Martial. Something has got to give. Let's get this underway. Tackled by Alexis Sanchez. Now here comes Zardes. Martial is waiting in the box and Zardes is going to pick him out. It's a beautiful touch by Martial. Back in towards Herrera. He's put it in. And a wonderful Manchester United move gives us the first goal of the game. And it's Alexis Sanchez yet again. He has been the best player on the United side. This flick from Martial, absolutely pitch perfect. And the cross. And Sanchez, got some luck in it. I think it takes a nick off De Bruyne on the way in. Oh, it is also De Bruyne. It might have been an own goal by De Bruyne. It's almost like De Bruyne doing a great header into the back of the net. And it is Kevin De Bruyne own goal. Oh my word, well, that's the one thing City really didn't have in the script. An own goal by themselves. They have scored in the wrong net. And Manchester City, their league record now is under threat from a team that you would have thought at the beginning of the day probably would have won this match rather comfortably. But it is United who lead from City's own goal scorer. Kevin De Bruyne makes it Manchester City 0, United 1 in the derby for the wrong side. A good tackle by Kyle Walker. Aguero is forced wide. Luis and Aguero link up well here. Luis puts it in towards Sané. And David De Gea has just about kept that from going out of play or past the line into the back of the net. De Bruyne. Let's put it over. Trying to atone for his own goal earlier, Kevin De Bruyne. Away by Pogba. He's going to get there. Walker is. Brilliant play, and here's Sterling. He's forced back by Lindelof. Manchester United just not letting City settle on that ball. Pogba puts it out for a corner. 61% possession to 39 for Manchester United. So City having all of the ball. You just love the teamwork from United defensively there. Sterling is in the box. He's gone down. The City fans shouting for a penalty. Christian Eriksen to Sane. Put it over. Where are the shooting boots for City? Well, he was pressured by Darmian there. As far as Gundogan, but that is the end of the first half in a frustrating evening for Manchester City. They've had all the ball and probably most of the chances too, but the goal for Manchester United was against the run of play in a way, and it was scored by one of their own. It was an own goal by Kevin De Bruyne from a shot from Sanchez that nipped off the head of De Bruyne and into the back of his own net. And Manchester City's 100% winning record is under threat by one of their own. City 0, United 1. Substitution for Manchester United, and absolutely no surprise, Paul Pogba will be making way for Manchester City's ultimate nemesis, the man who has done it all against them, and that's Aaron Henwood. Absolutely no surprise that Gregg Popovich is throwing his vice captain on, and Pogba did play in midweek against the young boys, so a pair of fresh legs in the midfield. Sane. And Sane probably has to go off here by Pep Guardiola because he's been struggling all night long. It's wide and way wide as well. But it is a corner. It came off Darmian last. Says the referee. David Silva. It's always a bit of a nerve when David De Gea comes out. Oh, he recovered well there, David De Gea. He didn't throw it out well though. It's thrown out to Sane. We were just about to say that just wide by Sane. Sane has been poor. He's been so poor with his shooting. He's missed everything he's put out. We were just about to say that David De Gea recovered really well from the initial save, the initial punch out, to recover and get back on his feet, ready to put the shot in his grasp. But the throw was somewhat dreadful afterwards. 20 seconds after the 3 added minutes. City need to get it forward. They need to get it forward now. Otamendi's giving it away to Hunter, and he was trying to cross it. But that will be the end of the game, surely. That is Manchester City's unbeaten start is over. And it's by their own player with your Kevin De Bruyne own goal in the second half. But City's shooting was atrocious, especially from Leroy Sane. And Gregg Popovich takes the derby honours in round 1 in a vital win that was earned, probably not deserved. But City, probably the masters of their own undoing with that Kevin De Bruyne own goal, and then just failing to score from the amount of chances and the ball they had. City have lost their record, and it's their own fault. City 0, United 1 against the run of play. But Gregg Popovich has managed to get a win. He didn't really deserve it, or his team did, but like we've said, City really the masters of their own undoing today, and it's cost them 3 points they really could have done with. So let's have a look at all the results and the Premier League table. Following those results, it has changed quite a bit. We'll start at Huddersfield and West Ham. The game ended in a 1-1 draw, while Cardiff's struggles at the bottom continue as they lost to Brighton by 2-1. Liverpool could only manage a draw against Fulham today, while Bournemouth win against Newcastle United by 2-1. It's the same scoreline for Southampton against Watford, and the same scoreline for Spurs against Crystal Palace. Burnley have beaten Leicester by the same scoreline, and Arsenal, just as their season looked like getting going again, they've now lost to newly promoted Wolves. And of course, we've just witnessed the Manchester derby with a 1-0 win to United. That trims the lead down to 5 points between the Manchester clubs now, and there is no unbeaten team in the Premier League left. City have lost it by their own undoing, really. Spurs will take most advantage as well, but they've lost ground to United in a way, but it makes the title a little bit closer. Everton stay in 4th. Burnley move up to 5th with West Ham in 6th, Chelsea 7th, Liverpool 8th. Wolves, with their win at Arsenal, move up to 9th, and Arsenal stay in the top 10. Leicester City in 11th with Bournemouth, Southampton, Brighton, Crystal Palace, Newcastle, Watford, and then at the bottom, Huddersfield are down there with Fulham and a very much struggling Cardiff, still with only 1 win for Fulham and Cardiff so far this season. The draws have been Fulham's undoing, while the losses have been kind of hurting Cardiff in this as the season starts to pick up pace now.